Talking about kegs and eggs, fertility and oocytes. Talking candid while having a drink or two. You'll hear real talk from a real genetic counselor who's miscarried multiple times before. It's time for Katie Lee CGC.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is the day I'm filming my 2-week postpartum update. So it's been about 2.5 weeks since I've had baby French fry, and here she is. You'll probably hear her talking because she just woke up. Oh boy, might have to change positions. She's been an absolute dream. People sometimes ask the funniest things when you have a new baby, like a 2-week-old baby, like, is she sleeping well? I mean, yeah, sleeping well, and sleeping well for a 2-week-old is getting up every 1 to 3 hours to eat. So that's what she's doing. She's still got her full head of hair. She's sweet as can be. But what I wanted to talk about is 6 crazy things that happen in the postpartum period to a lot of women, or I should say to a lot of people who give birth. And the first is night sweats. Holy moly, I had totally forgotten with my son how insane the night sweats are. Like, just due to the change in your hormones, you will wake up drenched with sweat, like soaking through shirts, like changing 3 shirts a night. So ever since like maybe 3 or 4 days postpartum, I have just been sweating like crazy. It could be, I feel like 30 degrees in my bedroom and I would still be sweating insanely. So night sweats, they are completely normal, but they are really yuck. Like, I feel like I need to take a shower every morning, and every time I wake up to Frenchie crying, I'm soaked, like so soaked that she can barely latch onto my nipple because it's literally covered in sweat. So there's that one. Number 2, appetite. If you breastfeed as a new parent, you are starving. You're starving and you're thirsty. Pretty much every time I wake up in the night, which is usually 3 or 4 times between like 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. To feed the baby, I need a snack. I need like 3 string cheeses. I need a granola bar. I've been just going to Costco every week to get snacks for nighttime breastfeeding and daytime too. Number 3 is lochia. Lochia is the bleeding or the vaginal discharge after delivering a baby. And wow, I feel like it was really different than what I had with my son. With my son, I think I was done bleeding by 2 weeks, and I mean like completely done bleeding, not even needing panty liners besides here or there. This time, it's like I said, 2.5 weeks, and I am still bleeding heavily. Still lots of red blood. I had a couple of clots that were between like golf ball and egg size, and the general recommendation, at least from my doctor, and of course talk to your doctor if you have any concerns about your bleeding postpartum, but the general recommendation is if you're filling a pad, more than 1 pad within an hour, you're saturating it. Go to the doctor, call your doctor. If you have a clot greater than the size of an egg, some people say golf ball, but my doctor said egg, call the doctor. So I called my doctor's office anyways, because I'm like, this amount of blood still 2 weeks out, lots of red blood. I'm changing my pad like every time I go to the bathroom, which I'm going to the bathroom a lot because I'm drinking a lot of water. It's never filling the pad completely, but I mean, these are gigantic super soaker pads that you're wearing. So man, if I was filling a pad, I would be terrified. Anyways, after those giant clots, which it literally felt like I was laying an egg when this clot came out of me, I was walking back from one of French Fry's pediatrician appointments, and it felt like an egg was coming out of my vagina. So I immediately like checked what was going on, and I was like, wow, that is a huge, huge clot. I do not like the looks of it. It was gelatinous. It was like crimson colored. It was something else. Blah. Anyway, so lochia is that vaginal discharge that you have after you have a baby, and there's essentially 3 stages of it. First, it starts out bright red, like, you know, blood, and then it becomes like a darker brownish red kind of color, or brown, and then at the end, it's usually more clear or pinkish, mucusy color. So I have all of those other lovely stages ahead of me because it is still bright red. And I would love for it to end because I absolutely hate wearing pads. Sometimes I do wear like period underwear, or these period shorts that I have. However, you can't see, mine are all black. which is great, except you can't tell really how much you were bleeding unless it is a huge clot in there. So mostly I'm wearing these pads and I absolutely hate wearing them. So I would like that to end soon. Update number 4 is milk. If you are planning to breastfeed, you know, it can be a little frustrating at the beginning, the first few days after having the baby, because your milk may not come in. You can still breastfeed and latch the baby, but they'll just be getting colostrum, which is great, but they may not be getting a lot of nutrition. And for me, with my son, it took about 5 days for my milk to come in, which that's kind of the tail end of what's expected. Usually I hear like milk comes in between 2 or 3 and 5 days. And the same thing happened with Frenchie. So I was just not producing milk yet. And again, that can be normal. But the problem is if your baby's not getting milk and you're not giving them formula or donor milk or something else, they're gonna start losing weight. So Miss French Fry won many pediatrician appointments. I have literally been there 4 times, gone to the pediatrician office already 4 times since she was born, which is very annoying to me. Essentially, if the baby drops, or at least this is my pediatrician's recommendation, it's pretty common, if the baby drops 10% of their weight, there's a concern there. And my pediatrician recommended, because she essentially was and my milk still wasn't in, to start supplementing with formula, which I'm totally fine with. However, that means you have to, you know, get out the bottles, you got to give them those bottle nipples, and I just rather my milk come in, but it didn't. So we did formula supplementation, then we came back. She had gained a bunch of weight. Usually babies can gain like 0.5 to 1 ounce a day. She gained like 2 ounces a day in that 3-day gap. So the pediatrician was like, okay, now you can stop supplementing with formula. Well, I started breastfeeding only, and she dropped weight. She just stayed, she maintained, I should say, her weight, but didn't gain any, and she still wasn't back to her birth weight. So we went back for another appointment. They're like, okay, now you need to supplement again. And then I was like, okay, now that my milk's in, I should start pumping. And if you're breastfeeding and pumping, it's just really time consuming and not that fun, compared to if you're breastfeeding, solely breastfeeding, where you don't need to spend additional time after breastfeeding getting out your pump, washing all the pieces, pumping for, you know, 15 to 30 minutes, and then giving your baby that bottle of pump milk. So yeah, it's a pain. I mean, you could also choose to do formula, which is another great option. And like I said, I used formula until my milk came in. And some people don't even have an option depending on their milk production, but man, weight challenges. Weight challenges are a pain in the butt. For now, after seeing the lactation consultant, what I did there is a weigh, feed, weigh, which pretty much means that, hi girl, hi sweetie Petey. Which pretty much means that you go into the appointment, you get the baby naked, you weigh her, and then you feed her on the left side, out of the left breast, and then you weigh her again, and you see how much milk. This is with a, you know, a special scale that's very sensitive and accurate. You see how much milk she got from the left, then you repeat and you do it on the right side, see how much milk she got from the right, and that tells you whether you're transferring milk. Is the baby getting milk out of your breast into their body? Is that the problem? The lactation consultant looks at your latch, looks at how you're holding the baby, looks at the baby's tongue and lip and mouth. And what we learned is that Frenchie was only getting a ½ an ounce on each side. So, and then she would fall asleep. And that's common, newborn babies are sleepy. So because she was only getting ½ an ounce, she wasn't getting enough. She was pretty much constantly hungry. So she would just nurse on each side and then fall asleep for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, repeat. By supplementing with a bottle of milk, pumped milk, or formula, the great thing is you can top them off and milk flows out of a bottle nipple much, much faster. So, you know, in just a few minutes, she can have 2 more ounces of milk and be satisfied and hopefully sleep or rest for, you know, 2 hours between each feeding or 3 hours between each feeding. Breastfeeding is challenging, and that's normal. There's all sorts of different challenges you can have. So I'm hoping that eventually she'll wake up a little bit more, and I know she will, and that she'll just be able to nurse and I can stop pumping. The 5th thing I want to talk about was engorgement, or your milk coming in. I think a lot of people are prepared for this or they hear about it, but when your milk comes in, it is crazy. Your breasts get rock hard, literally rock hard. It's painful, and it's such a weird phenomenon. Like, you will have the biggest breasts you've had in your lifetime and they will be rock hard. There's all different types of techniques to get things going, get your milk flowing, get your letdowns. Letdown is when your body starts letting that milk out of the breast, essentially. So, you know, you can do things like take warm showers, warm and cold compresses on your breasts, all sorts of things like that. But I knew what to expect this time after going through it in my previous pregnancy and postpartum period. But if you've not gone through it yet, it is an eye-opening experience. If you have a partner, your partner might be like, wow, look at you, what is going on? And the sixth thing I wanted to talk about was mental health. So in the postpartum period, a lot of people have postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. I was really worried about that for myself because, you know, I've struggled definitely with some anxiety throughout all of my miscarriages, and the pregnancy itself has been pretty high anxiety, just worrying whether she was going to make it here alive or not. So I felt like I was at risk for, you know, experiencing some of that postpartum depression or baby blues or postpartum anxiety. But luckily I felt great. And I feel so fortunate because that is something that is completely out of your control. You can be incredibly happy and thankful for your baby and still experience awful, debilitating depression or anxiety in the postpartum period. And like I said, I was really worried, and my friends were checking on me, my family was checking on me, but I feel really lucky that I've just been able to enjoy it with Frenchie and feel like myself, probably feel like more like myself than ever, just knowing that she's here and I can breathe a sigh of relief. So that's it for my 2-week postpartum update. Here's Miss Girly's outfit of the day. She's just so cute, you guys. I love her so much. All right. Let me know if you want more postpartum updates. Bye, guys. You do a backwards bye. Say bye.